And this is my 2nd Bomb Group reunion battalion. This is my Russian, for the coming to Russia, bombing from Russia the 2 times that we bombed, and the Russian upper echelon, whatever they call them, decided we need a medal for that because we went ahead of the German army when we made that trip on D-Day. These are medals that I had. Well, how am I going to explain that one?
I don't know. How deep in are you?
We traded these off with the Germans, not with the Germans, with the Russians. And I had a whole bunch of them. I only got 2 sitting in there now from they're actually medals from Russia. This is my regular engineer gunnery deal. And of course, there's my wings. And this one down here, let's see, what is this one? Oh, that's for my faithful ones in the service. And then permanent party, when I got back home, I was in the permanent party division. And this one here was what we call the bar. As you can see, the metal one was a 2nd lieutenant's bar. And during one of our flights, the bombardier insisted that I should have been an officer. And I said, well, no, I'm happy like I am. He said, well, I want you to have this. He was promoted to a 1st lieutenant, and this is 2nd lieutenant, and he pinned those on me, and I kept them on me on my uniform all during the time the rest of the time I was over there. And this one here, you can see this, the little tiny thing. These are clusters that I received for every month or so that I was overseas. They gave me a little medal, a little deal on the medal, and I never did put them. I put them all on my bar. And this one here, this one is my 2nd Bomb Group. Anyway, emblem. That's the second Bomb Group emblem that is Beecham, Charles Beecham, the one that painted the pictures over here for me, and that's how that happened. Many times Charles Beecham flew our right wing. And I don't know exactly what happened to his crew because he never talked about it. Like I say, I never talked about it for 30 years myself. But then he wound up in Oklahoma and became a volunteer at the Oklahoma City Museum. And in the meantime, he was doing sculpture work and doing paintings. And this is one of them that he did for me. And this is actually a bombing run picture. This is my crew. I was able to get them all together. They didn't want me to take it, but I said, I've got to have a recording of you guys. So I did get a recording, and of course I give them all a copy too.
And all those boys went home, John, right?
Every last one of them.
Was there ever a time when you couldn't complete your mission or something went wrong and you had to get rid of?
8 times. And my job was to get rid of the bombs before we got back to the base. So I wait until we get over the Adriatic Sea, mainly 90% of the time. And I'd go out onto the end of the bomb bay. The bomb bay would open, that is, the bombardier would open it. And I'd reach over, I had a little screwdriver, it kept in my hip pocket. So when, if this occurred, which it did 8 times, that I would reach up and there was a little button there that, well, actually it's a slot that I could take and turn it and release the bomb. And that's how I did it.
What were you standing on when you did that?
What? Oh, you mean that? Now, by the way, this is my son. You know, just asked me that question.
I know what you're saying.
It's only about maybe 5 inches wide between the. It's the framework, really, basically, of the aircraft at the bottom of the near the bottom of the bomb bay. That is, it was the go-between that held the bomb bay itself together. And it went from the pilot's, that back door, clear to the radio operator's door, where they, so that's how long it was, but it was very narrow. And I have to get out there with both bomb bay doors open, because it can't open just one by itself, and release those things. I don't know how many hundreds of bombs that our whole outfit dropped in the Adriatic Sea, but there's still a lot of them in there.
Well, that's just a comment. We owe you a debt of gratitude. Really, thank you for your service.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Back here, go ahead.
I just said, how much time in combat did you have overseas?
The largest, or the longest one was close to 8 hours.
No, how much time were you there altogether?
Oh, I was only there about 6 months or so, because we bomb almost every day. And so that's how come I got to 39 missions in. I was only supposed to do 25. And then they gave us the opportunity to stay, and with our loss ratio like it was, the whole crew decided to stay. And that's why we did 39.
John, would you talk about that loss ratio, what it was before the P-51s came in, what the loss on those ships was?
Yeah, we'd go out, and just like I told you, a lot of times only 2 of us would get back. And sometimes it was 3, and sometimes it was 4. But the loss ratio developed when we were losing so many planes. And that's what the loss ratio, that's what we call the loss ratio.
Did you always go out in a group of 12?
Oh yeah, thank you. We did. It was always 12 ships to start out, no matter what, in our squadron. And I was with the 20th Squadron. Yeah.
Did you say your loss ratio was like 70 to 72%?
Yeah.
Before the P-51s came in?
Yeah, before the P-51s came in, the loss ratio was like around 72%.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. That's what, a little over 2/3 every time we went out, we lost that many planes.
And how did that change when the P-51s
When the P-51s came in, the only real problem we had was, we had a lot of fighters, what have you, attack us, but not anyways near as many, because the P-51s helped us take care of it, and were able to go in further with us and come out with us, because they'd go back and refuel, and they'd come back and fly back with us after we got over the target. And that's, you see, with flak and everything, that's how come we lost so many ships to begin with, until that changed with the fighters. It cut the fighters down, but we still had the flak. The flak was still heavy until we bombed them, until we could bomb them to the degree that we didn't even have the flak right at the last. So, yes.
Where were you when the war ended, and what do you remember from that announcement?
Where were you when the war ended, John, and what do you remember from that announcement?
To tell you the truth, I was really surprised that we had ended when we did. I was, it was 1946. In 45, I came back to the States. And I was assigned, and I didn't even talk about this, a mobile training unit because the B-20, I was had the I was changed to B-29s. And the B-29s were, oh man, why do I say this? Anyway, the B-29s were coming off the line, not full. A lot of times parts were missing, equipment was missing, equipment wasn't working properly. And it was my job to inspect the B-29s to see what had to be corrected. And of course the ground crew knew, but only from official, U.S. Official, U.S. Army official, were they able to order the parts to change them. And so a lot of times I would even have to fly with them after they changed it because I was still on flying status. And so it was nip and tuck there for a while. And well, I was out for 8 months doing that before. And then I went into the commanding officer in Drew Field. No, not Drew Field. One in Denver. What's Larry Field? And told the commander, I says, you know, I says, I'm going to miss this war if I don't get a chance to get on those B-29s after correcting them all. So he said, well, you come back tomorrow. So I went back the next day. He says, you've got too many points. And I had no idea what he's talking about. He says, I'm going to send you home tomorrow. And that's how I got out of the service. I got to San Bernardino, at the base there in San Bernardino. And he gave me my discharge papers and sent me home.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul, it is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul.